Hello everybody. I think this will be somewhat short because it's drizzling. Here in the Basque Country that's quite common, and it is Tuesday afternoon and it's raining. So this video is for MKs who are coming to our retreat, to the MK parents, family members, and the bukus of friends who follow the Missionary Teen Retreats and have done so down through the years. And many have given and been very generous with us to be able to help these retreats to go forward. So let me give you some information. Weather report. First of all, the weather is supposed to be like this: wet, cool, cold. Yeah, not gonna have many outside activities, I don't think. I don't think there's gonna be any volleyball. It would be mud ball. And so we have to plan for being most of the time inside the farmhouse. And that means warm clothes. Well, I mean, it'll be warmer inside the farmhouse, but still, it's cool and cold. And when you get out, make sure you bring some warm clothes. A lot of you MKs are coming from north of us, so you're used to it. But anyway, bring warm clothes, bring shoes, rough stuff for outside. I don't think there will be a hike, but I may be wrong. I mean, it's planned, but because of the weather, that may not be very reasonable. At any rate, come ready for it. And then, of course, bring clothes for Sunday. You don't need anything fancy, just nice for Sunday, for the concert and so forth. I wanted to remind you of our overall theme, especially we have a number of MKs coming for the first time this year. And from the very, very beginning in 2004, we took a phrase out of Luke chapter 12, verse 48. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. To whom much is given, much shall be required. And that's what we have sought to teach and to instill in the MKs as they've come here through the years, that it's not a sad thing to be an MK. It's not an underprivileged position. Other way around. MKs are privileged young people for many reasons. And I won't get into all of those now. You should probably know them. But anyway, our emphasis will be, you've been given a unique opportunity as an MK to grow up helping, serving with your parents on a foreign field, in another culture. And so, to whom much is required, or to whom much is given, much will be required. This is our 19th Missionary Teen Retreat, as you know. We had our first one in the year 2004. And we've had one every year except for the 2 years because of COVID, 2020 and 2021. I have my cheat sheet here getting wet. But anyway, and then, so this time we have our guests are Rand Hummel, who many of you know or have heard about him, and he will be our guest speaker. But we also have the Klutz again. The Klutz have come to 7 Missionary Teen Retreats, and every year in the recent years, they have come to help us, and my do they ever. They're generous and just servants all the way around. So we're glad to have them, and they are bringing a young couple from Berean. Their names are Carson and Alyssa Cook, and interestingly, Carson's dad was our 3rd Missionary Teen Retreat speaker back in probably 2006, I think. So now his son is back, married, and they are going to be helping us as well, throughout the retreat. I wanted to honor, by way of mention anyway, a few of the retreat speakers we've had over the years, who I was counting to see, realizing that some of them have passed on. Normally, not always, but usually I alternate speakers being elderly or mature 1 year, and then young ones another year. The idea is a mixture there of wisdom and energy and youth, though they're not mutually exclusive, but you know what I mean. So we've had a number of older guests who have been just excellent, excellent teachers, and a few of them have gone on, and so I wanted to mention their names. Dr. Ken Hay was in our 4th retreat, and he has passed on. Dr. Frank Garlock was, and his wife were our guests in the 6th missionary retreat, and Pastor G and Mrs. G have passed on to heaven. And Dr. Mike Patterson was in our 8th retreat, and he is as well. His wife is still serving and going great guns, but Brother Mike passed on a few years ago. And also our 10th retreat, we had Brother Bob Bixby, great friend and missionary here, few hours up into France. And so those 4 men of the ones that we've had, I didn't want this to be somber necessarily, but just to honor these men who have gone on to be with the Lord and for their contribution to the retreats over the years. The total number of different teens that have come from Europe in all of these years stands at 157. 157 different MKs have been here in these years. And just by way of curiosity, our lowest attendance for a missionary teen retreat was last year, and we had a dozen, exactly 12. And that's what we've seen since COVID. A lot of missionaries are no longer here, and we've noticed that in the attendance. This year, I think we're going to be a few more. Our largest retreat was was the 15th, and we had 31 kids at that time. And I remember we had a number show up at the airport that we weren't expecting. So we had to do some scrambling, but it was a great retreat. I had a great time. And so through the years, the attendance goes up and down. We don't, in a sense, I don't care how many come. If the Lord wants 4 to come, 4 come. If we have 40, well, I will make do with 40. But every retreat has its own personality, its own character, and they're always a huge blessing, and we get that feedback continually, constantly. So whoever comes, it's going to be a great, great retreat, as always, because we can count on the Lord's blessing for it. Let's see, because of the weather then, we will definitely be using the sock rug, which means that there's a section up there for those who are new. There's a section up there where you take your shoes off and you can play cards and games and so forth, but so bring some socks that cover your whole feet, I guess. I don't know. You do whatever you want, but just realize that there's going to be a place there where you have to take your shoes off. Okay, let me see what else I have. Oh yeah, we have a good change this year in the heating for the dormitories. It's always been a little frigid and been some challenges there, and we think we've made a change that's going to make a big difference, and that'll be nice. And what else? Oh yeah, if any of you are watching this and you have in the past or be interested in giving a gift towards the retreat, what we do is when all the expenses are paid for, the gifts that are still the remaining funds that we have received over and above what the missionaries themselves pay and then what people give, we'll divide that money and send it back with those who we've figured out have the most needs, those who have paid the most in airplane tickets and so forth. So if you haven't and wanted to, why, we don't have to have that in the next 4 or 5 days, but we do need to know about it. So let us know if you're going to send something in, because we would go ahead and put that in the mix, and we can wait until it gets to the mission board if that's the case. Okay, well, if you have any questions, you probably got this either through my WhatsApp or through an email address, so you can answer back and ask anything you want. Here's our beautiful scenery today, gray and wet. And if we do the hike, sort of unlikely, if we do the hike, it'll be way up there in the clouds. Can't see where it'll be, but we'll wait until Saturday on that. Okay, I'll let it go at that. God bless you. If you have any questions, let me know. And looking forward to seeing you all. Take care. It's in 2 days.